Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Now today I'm going to be doing my haul from the most recent Heathrow Aviation Collectors Fair. Now before I get started, obviously you guys all saw these models included within my most recent collection video on my channel a couple videos back. So this fair was a couple weeks ago now. And I've only just got round to making the video, but as you can see we have got 8 models in total, 5 of which are narrow bodies and 3 are wide bodies. It was a good day, some good deals to be had, and I'm really happy with my haul in total. Some models I've been looking for quite some time, so really happy to finally get my hands on them. And yeah, so let's get started and we'll get right into the video. Like the previous model haul, we'll go straight into it and we'll start off with the smallest and finish off with the largest. And here we have the first model of today's haul, and it is the Eurowings A320 by Phoenix in the Hertz livery. Obviously I've had this model before, but I will get into why I picked it up again. But starting off, let's take a look at the box. So here you have a photo of the aircraft with the Eurowings title and the Airbus A320 titles, 1/400 scale, and the registration Delta Alpha Bravo Delta uniform. Which got the T's and C's, and then you've also got additional photos of the aircraft all around the box, and the Eurowings detailing on the back, followed by Hertz, which is obviously a car rental company. So moving on to the model, obviously if you've been subscribed to my channel for a long time, you'll know that I did used to have this model a long time ago. However, I did end up selling that one on. However, it was returned back into my collection when I was at the fair, and I was going around some of the stalls. This model was actually on sale for about £10. This was because it had some faults, which included its landing gear, especially at the front, and I believe it's the back right one. They were loose, and they also had the tyres and pins in the box, but they were loose as well. So I managed to negotiate this down to a £5, so I managed to pick it up for £5, and it's an absolute steal. I mean, a 1/400 model for £5 is absolutely absurd, especially nowadays in the retail price of most models. But yeah, very happy with my business. So moving on to the details of the model, starting off here at the front. Obviously you've got the Eurowings logo, followed by the pitot tubes and the cockpit windows. Moving back, we have the first antenna and the L1 door, followed by the Eurowings titles and the Hertz cars down here. Moving back, you have the CFM engines and the Euro white wings, which look very nice and neat there on the model. Then you then have, I believe that's a heart with Hertz in the middle. I could be incorrect with that, but the writing is a bit kind of faded. And then I believe this is Hertz's slogan back here, "We're here to get you there." Followed of course by the registration again, and the L2 door and the Hertz logo there at the back. Turning over now onto the other side, you have the same detailing, except now of course we've got the cargo doors, which are there and there, as you can see. Overall, very happy to pick up this model again. Like I said, for the price and £5, absolutely cannot complain, no matter the model. But yeah, really happy to add the Eurowings Hertz livery back into my collection. Obviously that grows my Eurowings fleet up a bit now. This is one part of my collection which I'm trying to grow a bit more. I know, of course, NG Models have just released the Borussia Dortmund A320. So if there is an opportunity where I can get my hands on it, I will definitely do that. But yeah, very happy with this model. And yeah, let's move on now to the Wizz Air A321 by Phoenix. Moving on to the Wizz Air now, let's start off with the box. So at the front, obviously this is the Wizz Air A321 in the 100th Airbus livery. So you've got the extra detailing down here, the registration, which is Hotel Alpha Lima Tango Delta, the Airbus A321 details there, and the 1:400 scale, followed by a couple more photos of the aircraft around the side of the box with some extra detailing. Obviously the price, I've got it there as well. Pretty good price for this model, as it's quite rare. And on the back there, of course, you've got further detailing, followed by the Phoenix logo. Moving on to the model, this is now the 6th Wizz Air aircraft I have now in my collection. The second A321 that is from Phoenix. So yeah, really happy with the Phoenix mold, especially in regard to this A321. I feel like Phoenix do a good job, especially with their newer A321 molds, especially with the ones with the sharklets rather than the fence tips. So they've done a good job there. But getting into the model, starting off here at the front, you have the cockpit windows and the pitot tubes there, followed by the antenna, L1 door, and the front landing gear. Of course, you've got the classic Wizz Air titles there, followed by the 100th Airbus special titles, looking very nice and neat on the aircraft. On the engines there, of course, you've got the wizzair.com detailing, very nice. And you have the same, I believe, there on the inside of the sharklet. As you can see, there's a very small white line there, which has that detailing. Going further back, you have the wizzair.com, as they do on most of their aircraft. And also you have this special silver lining that goes all the way back. That is special only to this livery. All the way back to the tail there, where over the normal Wizz Air logo, you then have the 100th Airbus titles again. Moving on to the other side of the aircraft now, obviously the exact same details, however you now have the cargo doors right there below the Wizz Air logo there on the front, and also right below the R3 door there. Overall, very happy with this model. Like I said, this is the 6th Wizz Air aircraft I now have within my collection. So really happy to continue growing this. Really big fan of the Wizz Air livery. I really do like the blend of the pink and the purple, and I think it always looks very nice and it stands out, especially anywhere they fly. So really happy with this model. Like I said, the mold is really good. I'm really pleased with it. And yeah, let's move on to the second Wizz Air model now, which is going to be the A321neo. Moving on to the only NG models aircraft of today's video, we have the Wizz Air A321neo with the pink nose cone. Let's start off with the box. Right here you obviously have the photo of the aircraft, followed by the Wizz Air titles and the NG logo, with the Airbus A321neo titling there, and the registration Hotel Alpha Lima Victor Charlie. Obviously then the price I paid for it again. Moving around, you've got the logos again, another photos of the aircraft. And onto the back, another photo of the aircraft with the T's and C's. Moving on to the model now, I have another Wizz Air A321neo. within my collection. However, it's with the white nose, so a normal nose. And when comparing it to this one, I realized how similar the Panda and NG A321neo molds are. So both manufacturers there have done a really good job in terms of producing highly accurate molds. But anyway, let's move on to the model. Starting off here at the front, obviously you have the highlight and the standout feature of the model, which is the pink nose cone, followed by the pitot tubes and the cockpit windows. Of course, you've got the front antenna there ahead of the L1 door, the front landing gear and the classic Wizz Air titles. Moving back, like the A321, we have the wizzair.com detailing there on the engines, and the wizzair.com detailing there as well on the fence tips, looking very nice. Moving back, of course, you got the wizzair.com detailing there again, like they do on every single Wizz Air aircraft. Then you have the L2 door and L3 door, followed by the registration and the classic Wizz Air tail. Moving on to the other side now, of course, the exact same detailing again. However, we have the cargo doors, which are right there below the Wizz Air titles and right below there on the R2 door. One interesting detail to note in regard to Wizz Air is that they only have 3 doors on their A321 Neos compared to their A321s, where they have 4 doors on those aircraft. Obviously, you would have the R2 door roughly in front of this engine here, or in line with the front part. Obviously, you can see that is missing. So another nice little detail to note there. In all, very happy with this model. This is the 7th Wizz Air aircraft to be added to my 1-400 collection. And I actually in fact picked this up along with the A321 by Phoenix, so a nice little combo deal there to get, and another good reason why, if you're interested or you do collect 1-400 scale models or any aviation memorabilia, aviation fairs are definitely a thing that should be on your bucket list. So yeah, really happy with this model. And now let's move on to the TUI Fly 737. And here we have the TUI Fly 737-800 in the Haribo Golden Baron livery by Phoenix models. Let's start off with the box. So as you can see here, we have a photo of the aircraft there, followed by the TUI Fly logo and the registration, which is Delta Alpha Tango Uniform Delta, and the Boeing 737 logo there, 1-400 scale. A photo of the aircraft, some detailing here with you have some gummy bears from Haribo and the Haribo bear there, some more T's and C's, and a nice little Winnie the Pooh bear there on the back with the Harry Bear logo in there as well. Moving on to the model, if you haven't seen any of the previous collection videos, then you will know that I have this exact model in 1-600 scale. So it's always kind of been a model that's always been on my wish list for 1-400 scale. I know there was an Aero Polaris release recently in the 1-400 scale. However, they were retailing for about £55, and this one I got for 25, so a lot cheaper, and still I have the model, so really happy to finally get my hands on this. Of course, being the original model. One detail to note before moving into the model, as you can see, there are no split scimitars here, which is what this release doesn't have over the Aero Polaris release. So if you are interested in a more recent version of this model, which includes antennas and split scimitars, I would advise the Aero Polaris model if you are interested. However, I'm really happy with this mold, and it's a solid mold by Phoenix, to say the least. But yeah, let's move on to the model. Starting off here at the front, you have the cockpit windows and the pitot tubes there, followed by the Haribo detailing again. Of course, you have the L1 door, some Haribo gummies, and then the Haribo Golden Baron titles there. Then you then have the TUIfly.com detailing on the engines, and you've got the classic TUI smile. Obviously, TUIfly did have the yellow livery before they, of course, transitioned into the TUI livery that we all know today, with those famous and iconic blue and red titles. But this is obviously quite an old release, and based off an older aircraft livery. So as a result, it's got the yellow titles. But anyway, moving back, you've got the registration there with a lot of more Haribo gummy bears, and the Haribo bear there again. Moving on to the other side of the model now, obviously everything is the exact same as always. However, we have the cargo doors, which are situated right there and there. Overall, like I said earlier, been meaning to get this model for quite some time now, so really happy to finally get my hands on it. And Phoenix have done a solid job on the mold. It's not the best out there, but I'm still satisfied and really happy with the outcome. And if you can get your hands on it, I would highly recommend. However, I would believe that the Aero Polaris model and the mold would be a lot better. So definitely try and get your hands on this model if you are interested. But yeah, let's move on to the last narrow body of the video, and that will be the Aer Lingus A320. Moving on to the Aer Lingus A320 by Geminijets, let's start off by taking a look at the box. Usual Geminijets box here with a photo of the aircraft, the Aer Lingus titles and the Airbus A320 titles, followed by information on the inside about the Airbus A320. So there you go, you can pause if you would like to have a look and read. Geminijets T's and C's, photo of the aircraft and also the price I paid for it. And same on the other sides of the box. And moving all the way to the back with further T's and C's by Geminijets. Their media links at the time, and 2016, so this model is almost 10 years old now. Moving on to the model, this is one that I have been wanting for quite some time, so really happy to get my hands on it. Obviously I do have the Aviation 400 Aer Lingus A320, but as you can see, the Geminijets 2016 A320 mold is far superior in comparison to that. One thing also to notice is that the CFM engines on this aircraft are actually a realistic size compared to the Geminijets mold nowadays, where the engines are incredibly oversized. So that's another plus with this model. But yeah, let's jump right on into it. Starting off at the front here, you have very, very dark cockpit windows, followed by the pitot tubes and the name of the aircraft, which is Centurion. Moving further back, you have the L1 door, the antenna and the front landing gear, followed by the Aer Lingus titles there and the Airbus A320 titling there. And then you have the classic green, light to green strip there, along with the windows all the way there across the fuselage. You have the emergency exit rows, two of which are situated right there above the wing. Moving all the way back, you have the second antenna and the registration, which is Echo India, Delta Echo Kilo, and the Irish flag right there, followed by the L2 door and the classic Irish clover, which is Aer Lingus's logo. Moving on to the other side of the model, you have the exact same detailing. However, this time, of course, as usual, you have the cargo doors, as you can see right there under the Aer Lingus titles, right there under the second antenna, and there's a very, very small one right under the registration there. One other thing to notice with this model is that with the Geminijets mould, especially the A320 during 2016, the horizontal stabilizers are unusually quite high. I will provide some footage now in which you can see that. As you can see here, in comparison with the Wizz Air A321 by Phoenix, the horizontal stabilizers here are a lot, well, they appear to be a lot higher than the Wizz Airs here, as these are a lot flatter and these are angled up much higher. So that is one thing to note in terms of this model. However, overall, I'm really happy to finally get my hands on this model. Like I said, this is one that I've been meaning to get for quite some time. So yeah, really satisfied with it. I'm really glad with the mould as well. Like I said, the CFM engines being the size that they are in comparison to more recent Geminijets releases is a really nice touch and a massive plus on this model. But yeah, so let's move on now to the wide bodies, and we'll start off with the Scoot 787 by Phoenix. Right, moving on to the Fly Scoot now, 787-9 by Phoenix. Let's start off with the box. As per with Phoenix, you have a different design for each aircraft and each airline. So here is the one for Fly Scoot. Obviously you have the watermark with Scoot there in the background, followed by the titles for the Boeing 787-9, photo of the aircraft, and the registration, which is 9 Victor Oscar Juliet Alpha, and the 1:400 scale Platinum Series. Along the sides of the box here, you have further images of the aircraft and more titles and logos, followed by the TNCs and a different design on the back here with the Scoot ball, I think. I'm not really sure what that is. Some writing here, and of course the limited edition, which is on every box of Phoenix models. So moving on to the model, obviously this is quite a peculiar one to get in terms of how it fits into my collection. Obviously I collect European, or I have a European centre around my collection, but the reason why I picked this up is because of a future project which I'm hoping will happen over the next couple of years, and that will be being brought to my channel. So hopefully this can be a part of that project in the future. But Fly Scoot, they're a Singapore low-cost carrier, and they fly all around Asia, Southeast Asia in particular, but they do have some routes into Europe, such as Athens. But yeah, I picked up this model at quite a good price, and thought, why not? But anyway, let's get straight on into the model. So starting off right at the front, obviously you have the cockpit windows, followed by 787-9 titling, the flyscoot.com titles there, with the L1 and L2 door. You have, of course, the Euro white wings, which are present on all 787s, I believe. Moving further back, you have the Dreamliner titles there, followed by the registration again, and the L4 door and the Scoot titling there right on the tail. Moving on to the other side, you have the exact same detailing again, of course, but you now have the cargo doors, which are situated right there with the fly scoots titling, and right there below the Dreamliner titles as well. Another thing to note is that this model also does have antennas, rolling landing gear, and a Wi-Fi dome there, which is a nice touch. Overall, really happy with this model from Phoenix. I do believe Phoenix have one of the stronger molds in terms of 1400 in the 787. So of course they've done a brilliant job again with this model. The good thing as well with Phoenix is that they also have a much wider variety in terms of releases in compared to other manufacturers. So there are a real range of models that you can get, especially in terms of the 787-9, and I don't think any other producer, maybe NG, have produced the Fly Scoot 787, but yeah, I was really happy to get my hands on this model. And yeah, so let's move on to the penultimate model for the video, and that will be the American 787-9. So moving on to the American 787-9 by Geminijets. Let's start off by taking a look at the box. So here we of course have the photo of the aircraft, the Geminijets titling there, the Boeing 787-9 titles and the American Airlines titles. Detailing of the aircraft here, so you can pause and take a look if you would wish. T's and C's here, the price I paid for the model, and a bit of damage, but I'm not that fussed when it comes to the box. Standard detailing there, and of course this release is 2017. I know Geminijets have released a couple more American 787-9 releases since this date, but nevertheless I still believe that this model is still really good. So moving on to the model, this is my first American wide body in the collection. I am slowly trying to build up my American fleet, especially in terms of wide bodies, potentially narrow bodies going forward, of course, with the retirement of Delta and United 757s and 767s almost upon us. I believe that they'll be rotating to the A321 LRs going forward, especially with connections into Europe. So who knows, we'll wait and see what happens with that. But yeah, I've been meaning to get an American wide body for quite some time, so was quite happy to pick this one up at the price. Obviously the 787 is a newer or a more newer addition and workhorse within the American fleet, because obviously their 777-200s are quite old, so this one will be flying for quite some time. But yeah, let's get straight on into the model. So starting off right here at the front, of course you've got the cockpit windows, the pitot tubes, L1 door and the American titling there. Really think that Geminijets have done a really good job in terms of the colours in regard to this model. Of course, I feel the American colouring, a bit like the Virgin Atlantic kind of grey, depending on the manufacturer, you're going to have a different colour. So I feel Geminijets are quite consistent with their colouring, and I compared this with my American 757-200, and it's the exact same. So maybe that's something to note if you are contemplating getting multiple American models from different manufacturers. Moving all the way to the back, you have the registration there, which I will let you know when we get over to the other side. Missed out the Wi-Fi dome there, again, as you can see, and the antennas. And of course, the American flag there at the back, or the American logo, shall I say. Moving on to the other side of the model now, we'll start off with the reg, which is November 820 Alpha Lima. And then of course the exact same detailing again, however you have the cargo doors which are situated right here and right there. Another thing to notice with this mould and the Geminijets one is that these wings, a bit like the Phoenix releases, they have the curved wings in comparison to more recent releases which have flatter wings, especially on the Dreamliner. So I believe this is the shape of the wings when they're in flight, because obviously the Dreamliner is quite renowned for having this as one of their features, but of course when it's stationed on ground you don't see it as much. So that's one thing to notice. I personally prefer the wings more bendy, and I think the flat ones don't look as great, but that's another thing to notice with this mould. Overall, really satisfied with this model. So like I just said there, I'm a much bigger fan of these curved wings, as you can tell, in comparison to the more recent releases where the wings on the Dreamliner are more flat. I noticed this in particular with a model I used to own, which was the Turkish 787-9, which I believe was a 2023 release from Geminijets. But both Phoenix and Geminijets used to do the curved wingtips, which I think is always a bonus, especially when you're picking up one of these Dreamliner models. But yeah, really happy. And hopefully this is the start of my larger, or soon to be larger, hopefully, American wide body fleet. But yeah, let's move on to the final model now of the video, which will be the Etihad 787-9 by Geminijets. Moving on to the last model now of the video, we have the Etihad 787-9 by Geminijets. Let's start off with the box. As you can see, photo of the aircraft, the Geminijets titles, Etihad titles, and the Boeing 787-9 titles. Further information of the Boeing 787 by Geminijets there, so you can pause if you would like to read that. T's and C's again, photo of the aircraft and the logos. This box is slightly weird, but like I said before, I'm not really that fussed about the condition of the box. And this is actually a 2014 release, so this probably is one of the first moulds of the Dreamliner by Geminijets. Moving on into the model, obviously this one's a bit sentimental, as I did fly on this past summer. So I have quite fond memories of the holiday I went on this summer because of this aircraft, and obviously me flying on it. Really big fan of the Etihad livery. I think it's absolutely stunning, and the 787 just really amplifies this. Obviously I have the Dash 10, but the Dash 9 I think is really solid as well. But yeah, let's move on into the further details of the model. Starting off at the front, obviously you've got the cockpit windows and the nose cone, followed by the flag of the UAE and the L1 door. Then you have the Etihad titling here, and the same in Arabic, followed up by titling which says "From Abu Dhabi to the world," which is of course is Etihad's motto. Moving back, you have, I believe that is the logo of the Etihad state, or the Abu Dhabi state. Of course you have the Euro white wings again, followed by the Dreamliner titling, Etihad.com, and the registration, which is A6 Bravo Lima Alpha, and of course the classic Etihad tailing there. Same again on the other side of the model. Of course you've got the exact same detailing, however you've got the cargo doors which are situated there and right under the Etihad.com logo in there. Another detail to note, there is the Wi-Fi dome also situated there, which is also quite interesting, as obviously this is the first mould of the Dreamliner in which Geminijets produced. So a nice little detail there by Geminijets. Overall, really happy with this model, especially with the price I paid for it. This model is quite rare. Obviously, it's 12 years since it has been released, so these are quite hard to get your hands on if you are interested. But if you do have the opportunity to pick one up, I would highly recommend it. Obviously, NG have done their releases, but like I said, in regards to the American, Geminijets and Phoenix both do a really good job at the bent wings. I much prefer these over the flatter ones. So I believe this is what they look like in flight, but that's a massive bonus for me. So if you're interested in that, I would highly recommend buying this. However, if you're not that fussed, then I guess you could go with the NG as the alternative solution. But yeah, that's the wrap on the Etihad 787-9 by Geminijets. So yeah, really pleased. Thank you all for watching the video. If you did enjoy it and you've stuck around for this long, please do hit the like and subscribe button, as it really helps the channel grow. Obviously, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers now, which is a bit insane to say. But if you can please do that, it'd be greatly appreciated. I do have some more 1 to 400 content on the way. I've got 2 reviews planned. And I'm just filming this, as you could probably tell, halfway through the video. It changed from, well, the lighting changed quite drastically. It's because I've been busy over the last couple of days as I'm getting ready to go on a trip. I've got my flight in a couple of hours, but you'll have to stay tuned to figure out where I'm going. But I'll be traveling over the next 7 months, so there's going to be quite a lot of content planned. But yeah, this was my haul from the Heathrow Aviation Fair. Like I said at the start of the video, if you are really interested in getting your hands on some hard to find 1 to 400 scale models, or even just general aviation memorabilia and other kind of models, I would highly suggest going to some of these fairs, as you can get some great deals on show. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching the video. Like I said, please do like, share and subscribe if you can. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Thank you.